Yep.
What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining us today as the Japan Saga, the final event of the Red Bull Dragon Ball Fighters World Tour, is gonna come in Tokyo next week.
Yep.
Me and Tyrant are gonna be there on commentary. I believe it's Giuna who's gonna be with us this time because you can't have the
he knows the scene out there. He does Fighting Tuesdays and he knows the whole circuit. So
yeah, and I will be there for 2 Fighting Tuesdays. I think you will be there for one of them as well. So
indeed, sir.
Yeah, just go around. So what I've been working on is it's the final event and it gives a lot of points, which means there are a lot of players who are still under a position where they could get eliminated or not.
Yeah.
So what we're just gonna do is we're just gonna run through all these slides. We're getting a whole PowerPoint, we for real today.
Listen, this esports. Listen, you saw the production values of the Spain Saga.
Production values, the colors of Dragon Ball, we all good.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's go on page 1 and just see. So what does everyone needs to qualify?
Let's actually go on next page. So let's have a look here. So current rankings right here, guys.
Yeah. So obviously, current rankings. So these are the current rankings of the players who are attending the tournament, right? Because essentially in the tournament, Goichi is not attending. Sonic Fox is not attending, and more importantly, Chris G, who's 9th, is not attending at the moment.
Wow, he's still not coming?
Yeah, he's still not coming. He's not in the bracket.
Man, Chris G needs to be careful.
Yeah, so at the moment, these are the points, and so you have their rank on the leaderboards in the middle. What happens for the World Tour, obviously, for those of you who don't necessarily know, is the grand finals will be in France in early 2020, and what's going to happen there is 15 players will be qualified for there, right? Mm-hmm. 3 guys get an auto qualification from a Saga, and then the remaining guys are basically, the highest ranked. Yeah. And since 2 of the 3 so far are already qualified anyway in points, like Goichi and Sonic Fox, and most likely the person who will win Japan, unless, miracle happens, should be a person who's already qualified. So essentially, you have to rank under 15th or better if you want to be qualified.
Correctly, yeah, that's correct. That's true.
Yeah. So if you see the ranking right now, you see the points and stuff, and the dangerous zone in the points is starting at around spot 11, Matoi. So everyone behind Matoi is in a position where they need kind of help from fate and everything to work. And I say Chris G is not in attendance. Top 15 will be there. So let's just start by taking a look at which players are already qualified, are already safe, because obviously it's the one, and that's the next slide.
Okay, so let's have a look. Next page. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So this is a safe zone. This is the zone, no matter what happens, even if they get absolutely no points, even if they, if they're not there or anything, these guys are already qualified.
Oh, really? So Chris G doesn't have to. Maybe that's why he didn't attend then.
Yeah, and actually Chris G, so I was basically trying to make this work, and Chris G is basically exactly at the minimum points to be safe.
Okay, so
it's literally the safe zone is 460 points. If you have under 460 points, there are combinations of people who could make you lose. But the thing that happens is because Cain has 235,
right? If
Cain gets 4th and gets 220 points, he will have 455 and still be behind Chris G.
Oh, okay.
So that's why what's happening there is 460 is pretty much the guaranteed zone. If anyone gets 460, they will be qualified to the finals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have these guys with Goichi, Sonic Fox, Fenrich, Sage, Shanks, Wawa, Maddo, Kazunoko, and Chris G. You will all see them in France. That's the guaranteed ones.
That big win for Chris G at Puerto Rico really did help him out, man. He needed that, for sure.
Yeah. It helped him out a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll see him in France later, which will be cool. Last time I saw him in France was Stunfest 3 years ago, I believe. Stunfest 2016.
No.
Or 2017.
He was there for he was there for the last Stunfest that had Street Fighter actually. So he has been in France within the past few years. So.
Yeah, that's the one. All right, so these are the safe qualified players. So we're not going to talk about them anymore today because these guys are comfortable. They're just going to go for trying to win tournament, get more points, get the cash prize, and have fun in Japan, of course. But now we should talk about the players who are at risk, right?
Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so
right. So these are remaining players. Anyone who is under 10th place is basically under a threat. And I was just showing this. Essentially, what I've been using to do that is I had fun like coding some ranking simulator, and I could just like put any kind of combination and see what happens at the end.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So like I could see like the exact scenarios that could happen, and like could kick someone out to get someone in. So
yeah.
So this way, at least, it's like a bit better than paper. At least you get something clean.
Listen, guys, listen. What other commentators do you get breaking this down for you on this level? All right, come on.
Man is coding for this.
The coding is clean. That's all Damascus.
Yeah. I focus essentially on the top players because we'll talk about this later. But the people who have under 100 points are all in the same kind of situation.
Yeah.
So you don't really need like more like detail from them. But as you can see, the rankings are on the left. So yeah, that's what I used. Now we can immediately like move forwards and talk about number 10, Bandvban.
Yeah, he's I mean, he's had a bit of an up and down year, to be honest.
Yeah, he's always been like doing pretty well. I think Evo is one of the things that was surprising because lots of people were expecting him to be to be in top 8, and he did not.
Yeah.
But the thing for Bandvban is, so first of all, if he gets 45 points, he will get to 460 like Chris G, and he's safe, right? Which means any spot on top 16 means Bandvban is absolutely guaranteed qualified.
Understood. Yeah. Of course, Saga points are you get a lot more for that. So
yeah, because you get 45 points if you get top 16.
Yeah. So that puts him in.
Yeah, that's what we. But the thing is, in the case he gets no points, which is quite hard, if he's like after top 16 and actually even after top 25, because 25th is 15 points.
Yeah.
There is one combination that would kick Bandvban out.
Oh, okay.
It's a bit unlikely though, because like that combination means so ApologyMan, Matoi, and Supernoon has to be 3rd, 4th, and 5th in any order.
Very like specific scenario.
It
could happen, but like
the second place has to be a player who has more than 15 points, and the first place needs to be someone like who's not in the top 15.
Right. Okay.
So like it's such a specific one that like I think Bandvban is pretty safe because unless someone like wishes bad luck to him, we shouldn't have. We should see him in France.
I honestly can't see him not getting top 16. To be honest,
he's probably going to be top 16 and be safe anyway. As soon as you will see next week, Bandvban being top 16, it means it's clean. The guy's qualified.
Yeah. So if you see him in that top 16 qualification match and he makes it into winner side or whatever, you're going to see that pop off, like for sure. Yeah. That's all he needs. Bandvban done, pretty safe. Now we're going to go to players who are like slightly less safe. The first one is Matoi, so 11th, 315 points. Impossible to find a picture of this guy online, by the way. So he's like one of those like dark guys, like you just can't find him. He's off the radar.
Some Bitcoin Cyclops Osaka stream that I screenshotted. It's like
off the radar.
So Matoi needs 145 points to be absolutely guaranteed, which means if he's 5th or better, he's 100% in, right? So that's what he's gonna aim for. But of course, like the other scenario are good because if he gets 7th place, the only way for him to be kicked out if he gets 7th place is that combination there, which is ApologyMan has to be in top 4.
Okay, understood.
B and Supernoon has to be in top 6, and 2nd place has to have more than 15 points.
Yeah, okay.
So it's same as the previous one. It's a pretty unlikely scenario. So I think like if he's top 8, he's like pretty much guaranteed because it's gonna be pretty hard. Because of course, like let's remind people that in this tournament there's gonna be Fenrich, there's gonna be Sage, who's currently winning everything in Japan. Like he won Fighting Tuesday, he won the Thursday tournaments. Wawa and Shanks are there. A lot of the qualified players are there. So for this scenario to happen is going to be hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, man, this tournament is going to be one of the hardest to predict of the year, I think, because of like the condensed skill levels you've got all together there. Though it's only 120 at entrance, but everybody's so damn good. So literally anything can happen. That's the thing. That's the one. But then, so the danger zone for Matoi starts outside of top 8. So if he gets 9th, there is a possibility where the players who are all like a bit around 200 points and more, which I know Supernoon, B, ApologyMan, CO, Tachikawa, Cain, and Nakiel, which are like the guys who are really playing for a lot. If 5 of these ones are in top 8 and Matoi is not in top 8, Matoi is out. Yeah, okay.
And that's a bit more believable that could happen.
Absolutely.
But that's still fairly unlikely.
I mean, on a good day, any of these 7 guys, they can do it. That's
the one. And the last one is if Matoi gets 13th place or worse, his fate basically depends on the guys who are mentioned before. if they place in front of him, if more than 5 of them place in front of him, he's out.
Mm-hmm.
If 3 or 4 of them place in front of him, he's in.
Okay.
So he's fairly safe, I would say, because he really needs to be like 13th or worse, and a specific scenario to be out. I don't think we'll see Matoi eliminated.
He's had some great runs this year. I just think he hasn't really had the chance to travel as much as he'd like to.
Yeah, he didn't attend a single tournament in Europe. He only attended Evo in America.
Yeah.
And he was not in Rev Major in Asia. So like he was only, I think, in Malaysia. In Asia.
That's what I'm thinking. Like
I think his points are like Malaysia and Evo.
Mm.
And he was not in Madrid. So that's the thing. But yeah, that's Matoi. Behind Matoi, there is someone who's about in the same scenario as Matoi, which is Supernoon. So 12, 305 points. Supernoon would need a top 4 to be absolutely guaranteed. But then obviously there are a few scenarios which are, if he's 5th, his fate will depend on like another unlikely scenario of like 1st and 2nd being really far, and ApologyMan and B being 3 and 4.
Okay.
So it's like fairly unlikely.
Yeah. Okay, I see the scenarios. Yeah, like some of them are a bit out there.
Yeah, 7th place is, I think, even like less likely, which is that top 6 has to have ApologyMan, CEO, B, Cain, and Tachikawa.
I mean, yeah.
So that's not something that happens, then 9th to 13th, which starts to be a bit dangerous if he's only top 16, because now like all these players, the CEO, B, Cain, and stuff, they need to just place top 16 to be in front of him. So it starts to be hard. And outside of top 16 is even harder, because if 4 of the players who are currently behind him just place in top 16, he's out.
Oh man, that's rough.
And remember that there are only 128 players in this tournament, so 4 of these players in top 16 is very likely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Noon is out there right now training in Japan. He hasn't been getting the results he's been wanting at like Fighting Tuesday and stuff and the locals. So he's going to be definitely hungry for the points. Yeah,
it's going to be definitely hungry. That's the one. But I think if he's top 16, that should be safe. And given like what the opponents could be in the tournament and everything, top 16 should be okay for him. Like I think it's realistic to expect him at least in top 16.
Yeah, he could definitely do that. Like that's definitely not outside of his skill level.
Yeah, that's the one. Done with Supernoon. So of course, for those of you who are not sure, the tournament is next week in Tokyo. So it's a 1-day tournament, and it's the 30th of November.
Absolutely. I will be putting this up on the channel beforehand, so you guys can check it out. Yeah,
of course. And up next is the man himself, B. Unfortunately, on PowerPoint, when you use the B emoji, it doesn't put you in red. So it's actually the emoji, but you
need to put an image.
I should have put an image. I'm a waste man. B is 13th and 275 points, and that's where like the very dangerous zone is starting.
Yeah, it's looking rough down there.
Yeah, because essentially, if he gets top 4, he's guaranteed qualification. But behind top 4, there are a lot of conditions that could like kick him out, which are, so that first one would be like if Matoi is top 6, and then either Supernoon, ApologyMan, CEO, or Tachikawa are in top 4.
Right.
That would be enough to kick him out if he's 5th.
Okay.
So that's fairly likely. That's already fairly likely. And then like 7th or 9th, the same thing. Is like he needs 5 players behind him to be at least in top 16 to get 375 or 345 points.
Yeah.
So doable as well. And the even worse is outside of top 16, because if any 3 players behind him place better than him in the tournament, he will be out. So he needs to aim. I would say he needs to aim at like 9th place minimum to like feel like his fate is in his hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, oh man, like I can't even begin to imagine the level of emotion that's going to be running at this event, because like everybody needs to place, man. Like.
Yeah, that's the one. And
you got not only yourself need to place, you need to look at how everybody else is doing as well throughout the bracket. So
I think that's the hard thing, which is the guaranteed qualification is such a hard thing to do, because top 4 is really hard in this tournament.
Yeah, no doubt.
That pretty much everyone will place in a position where their fate depends on where others place.
Yeah, and then you got like some of the big hitters that haven't really been attending as of like Fenrich. I mean,
even the hidden guys, Taco, Ikoan.
Yeah, exactly. And we might even have some surprise Japanese players that we don't even know about,
Yeah. Because like all of the Fighting Tuesdays are here, the PACA and stuff, so it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be a hard tournament. Abegen is there, and more importantly, the two guys who are there and who are gonna mess brackets up because they're not seeded are Kindevu and Aqua.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
Because they don't have any points on the leaderboards. They don't really travel this year.
That's like a wild card, essentially.
So someone is going to be seeded and is going to have to face Kindevu game 1.
and these are the kind of guys that could just show up at like the last chance qualifier and just mess up the whole bracket. That's the level.
That's what they did last year. So that's the one. But yeah, B needs to be at least 9th to be fairly safe. So done with B. Next one is another one who's in a pretty similar position as B, who's ApologyMan, so 14th, 265 points. And pretty similar scenario as B, which is top 4 will guarantee a qualification. Fifth place is fairly likely because he would need like 2nd and 1st to not be the usual suspects.
Which is
for this to happen. 7th or 9th starts to be a bit more likely because now it's about Nakiel, Cain, Tachikawa, and CEO being in top 8. It's a bit more likely, but still hard. And the dangerous zone is 13th. If ApologyMan places behind 13th, he's definitely gonna watch the brackets and be like, okay, let's pray for the brackets now.
Praying,
yeah. Because you only need like, I think the only wild card for this is because Nakiel only have 160 points. To kick these guys out, Nakiel needs to be 5th or better.
Yeah.
And I think that's what these guys will look for. They'll be like, Nakiel, you're my boy, but please don't get 5th. Like, lose.
Lose, please.
Yeah, that's one of the ones.
Yeah.
And of course, if he's outside of top 16, he will depend on Cain being top 16 and either Nakiel, Kuba, or Hero in top 8.
Okay.
So it's that's going to be very likely and dangerous. So it's very similar to B. If he's like 7th or 9th, he should be fairly safe. Outside of 9th, he's starting to like be in a tough position.
Yeah, for sure. He's gonna have to just keep it moving, man. Like that tension hand, man. He better be ready.
Yeah, the old pick, tension hand is not dead, still alive.
The classic.
Yeah, and next is the currently joint 5th players who are CEO and Tachikawa. 260 points, 15th. So it's definitely a tough position because essentially the way Dragon Ball Fighters work is if you are at the end of the day, if that's still like joint 15th, the way they use to just separate the players is who got more points at Sagas.
Okay, so they base it on the Sagas.
Yeah. Tachikawa and CEO were not at Evo, and Tachikawa and CEO were both in Madrid, and Tachikawa placed better than CEO that day.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So if they're still joints, I think Tachikawa, like if Tachikawa is in front, he will be in front of CEO. So that's already like one important point. But then it's pretty similar, which is top 4 means guaranteed qualification. 5th, 7th, or 9th is like a bit of unlikely, combination of events. And outside of 13th, that's where they're tough. If these guys are 13th, and if B, ApologyMan, Cain, and Nakiel are top 16, they're out.
Oh,
and that's likely.
Do you know what? I would actually be so like, for Tachikawa especially, like he wants it so badly. You could see when he lost that Spain Saga, like when he was out, he was so like crushed, man.
Yeah, that was like Spain Saga crushed. Same in UFA, like he worked so hard and especially in Spain, he should have been chanced because he dropped that critical combo. So like it would be heartbreaking to not see him in the finals.
Yeah.
But I think like if he watches this, he will know that if he gets 9th, that already puts him in a very likely position. If he gets 13th, that's going to be hard. And if he gets outside of top 16, it's even harder because outside of top 16, if anyone behind him like Cain, Nakiel, Kuba, Hero get just top 16, they're in front of him.
Got you.
So it's he should aim at. I mean, I think top 8 is a fairly safe position for him. Outside of top 8, that's going to be hard.
Yeah, he needs to aim for that for sure. Like and I think he might have like slight advantage because he's going to probably know a lot more about the local scene and the players and stuff. But
I think CEO will have it tough because I'm not sure how well he knows the scene there and everything, and it's always hard because like there's so many like killers there that it might just happen. But that's the scenario for Tachikawa and CEO. And now if we go down, I think one of the most interesting players for this tournament is the next one. He's 17th. He's 235 points, and he still has a good chance into qualifying. Because 235 points is a pretty good amount.
Yeah, he can do it. I mean, he's had an interesting year, Cain. Like, I think he's probably one of, if not the most underrated player.
I think after what he did at UFA, he did at UFA, like people realized that he's sick.
Because he made top 8 at he made top 8 at a lot of the World Tour events, like a lot of the non-World Tour events. Yeah, as well. It's like, I mean, but I still feel like people don't really know much about Cain.
Yeah, because I mean that's probably his opportunity to like not only qualify, but also get his like performance that will make people rate him.
Yeah. Exactly.
So essentially, what he needs is. So top 4 is qualified, but then the thing is, if he's 5th, 7th, or 9th, unless there is a surprise in top 3, which is someone who's behind him, he should be in. So even if Tachikawa, CEO, ApologyMan, and B are in top 8, if they're not all ahead of him, that should be all right. So a top 8 for him would pretty much guarantee him. A 9th place is fairly doable, depending on what happens on other players. 13th place, though, if Cain gets 13th, the only way he would qualify is if B, ApologyMan, CEO, and Tachikawa get no points.
Not happening.
Which is definitely not happening. Like, I don't see at least 2 of these 4 will definitely be top 16.
Absolutely.
So I think Cain 13th means Cain will have an LCQ to play if he wants to get in.
Yeah.
And of course, outside of top 16, there is absolutely no chance. If he's not top 16, he's completely eliminated.
Gone. So that's going to be rough for Cain, but he's definitely got the skill to do it. And if you think about it, an 128-man bracket is not that. That's only like how many games you have to win. It's like 3 or 4 games to get into top 16.
Yeah, to get top 16 is about 4 games, but the thing is, these 4 games are all beasts.
They're all going to be hard. Yeah, like like I said earlier, the condensed skill level of the players there is going to be.
So essentially, I'm the one working on the seeding, right, for like the tournament. So I was doing the seeding earlier this week. And they're gonna change tomorrow because I don't know if you guys have watched, by the way, but Red Bull is going to reopen tomorrow, like a last chance ticket. Because some of the players who signed up are saying they can't enter.
Oh man!
So there's gonna be a last chance tickets for the people who are attending tomorrow.
I'm gonna be real. It's gonna be Japanese players because no one's gonna last minute buy a ticket to Japan.
Yeah, of course. The most important for this is Dogura, because apparently Dogura wants to enter.
Okay, Dogura.
And Dogura being there would change a lot because obviously he's another guy who could potentially qualify because he still has a fair amount of points right now. But we'll see when we know. Cain, as we said, he needs to be I think top 8 is fairly safe for Cain. Outside of top 8 starts to be hard, and 13th means you need a miracle. So that's what he needs. And behind Cain are the other few players who need a lot of conditions to make it work, which are Nakiel, who has 160 points, and Kuba and Hero, who are currently tied with 150.
Yeah.
So these 3, if they make top 3, they're qualified, which would be cool.
Yeah, they can do that.
If they get 4th, they are qualified unless there is a surprise in top 3, and Supernoon, ApologyMan, and B are in top 6. So it's kind of unlikely. If they get 5th, they have to pray that among Supernoon, B, ApologyMan, CEO, Tachikawa, and Cain, they need them not to reach top 16. They need to break their legs.
I mean, I'm gonna be real, but those guys are probably gonna make top 16.
Yeah. That's the thing. And 7th or worse, if these guys are 7th or under, they're eliminated unless they're 7th and Tachikawa, CEO, and everyone behind doesn't get points.
Again, it's a tall ask.
Yeah.
It's a tall order.
Yeah. So the hard task for these guys is they need to be 5th or better.
You need to work hard, guys. And Kuba's in the chat now, so you can do it, man. You got to work hard.
You can do it, work hard, body these guys, if you can attend. And another thing, so these guys, they're aiming at 5th. If they're not 5th, they're out. Right, so that's going to be a bit easier to follow, at least. And then there is another tier, which is, what I call the 100 points tier. You have about 8 players who are out there, like Sangzus from the Philippines, Obi, of course, from the UK, Noka and Alyun from France, Lord Knight from the US, Taco and Time Out from Japan, and RMZ from the UK. All these guys need pretty much the same kind of scenario, which is either top 2, which is, hard. Third place will depend on Matoi, Supernoon, B, that group of player. They all need to be in top 16 for them not to be qualified in thirds. Fourth is still possible, but outside of fourth, these guys are out.
Oh man, yeah.
So for all of these guys, if you guys are watching us, the Xangsus, Obiasin and stuff, you have a huge task that weekend. You're gonna need to be top 4.
Yeah, it's crazy. Man, a lot of these scenarios rely on those same guys, B, ApologyMan, CEO, Tachikawa, all those guys placing, lower than 17th, but I can't see that happening, man. I really can't. It's a tall order. I mean, they can make it happen. You might have one of those days where I don't know, Alyun, for example, shows up and just goes nuts.
Yeah,
it can happen. Taco might surprise a bunch of people. Everyone there.
Taco, Kaimart, I haven't seen Kaimart in a while. Kaimart was good at Evo. It's
yeah, Kaimart, man, he's ridiculous. I don't think he plays Vegito anymore. Actually, does he still play Vegito?
I don't think so.
Nah.
Last time I've seen him, he was not in Vegito. So
yeah,
he's
he
good
played
around.
Team Gohan, right? And then
he was in Team Gohan for a while. I'm not sure who he's played lately because I haven't seen him playing on stream for a while. So we need to check that. But the thing is, that's the hard part for all of these guys, right? It's top 3 is gonna be hard.
Yeah, for sure. That is a mad ask.
Yeah, but that's why I want surprise. And last but not least, because the Saga gives so many points, there is still another case on the next slide, which is gonna be. So all the other guys entering, whether it's Fruit who's entering, whether Yajirobe shows up and's I can be there, whether it's Borach, or whether you stop doing commentary and you go play with your team, whether Sanshuk shows us the power of Nappa, all of you guys can still qualify.
He was in the chat earlier, you know that. He watched he watched my whole Resident Evil 3 stream. He was like the power of Nappa, fam.
The power of Nappa, indeed, but essentially, for anyone else who doesn't have about 60 points and more, you could qualify. Well, of course, if you win, you auto qualified.
Yeah.
If you're second, you can still qualify. If one of the players who's under Matoi, under the 11th place, if one of these guys is not in top 16 and you get second, you would qualify. Okay. And third place could even work if the people who are behind ApologyMan don't get in top 16.
Oh man.
So it's a fairly hard thing.
It is.
But it's cool that literally anyone could qualify that weekend.
Listen.
If Fruit comes out and plays ridiculous, if some Japanese comes out, and of course we still have Kindevu and stuff who could do that.
This is what I'm saying, the stories in Dragon Ball FighterZ are unmatched. I honestly could see some random Japanese online warrior coming out with Krillin or something and just busting heads. And making that run, and it can happen. It can happen in this kind of game as well, where there's so much control. I feel once someone gets going, it can definitely happen.
Yeah, and I think Kindevu is the most likely on this. And of course, if Dogra enters,
that's a shake-up.
That's a huge shake-up. I know Aqua is there. I know all of the guys. The Ikoan, the Paka, all of the Japanese threats are going to be there.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to look out for them. So it's still could happen. It's not necessarily likely, as the one. And to finish all of this, I made the only tier list that would be useful for you guys. I basically made a list of players just to know what's their current situation.
There you go.
And that's really this.
This is the too long didn't read version.
Yeah, exactly. It's either too long didn't read, too long didn't watch.
Yeah.
It's certainly this, right? So you have the qualified tier from Goichi to Chris G. All of these guys are safely qualified. You have Bandvban, who's safe unless catastrophe, which he should be there. Then you got Matoi, Supernoon, B, and ApologyMan, who, as long as they have a decent performance around top 16, they should be okay. Then you have the tier with CEO, Tachikawa, and Cain, who have a good chance provided they do good enough.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is Cain, CEO, and Tachikawa are the last players in the leaderboard who still have their fates in their hands.
For sure.
They don't depend on others too much, which is why I put them in has a good chance. But the 3 guys who are behind, Nakiel, Hirohiro, and Kuba, they need to have an outstanding performance, but they also need other people to have a terrible performance.
Yeah, so they have to work super hard and just like, I don't know, summon Chevron and just wish for like bad luck on people, you know, like it's got to happen.
It's gonna happen. Then there are like the guys who need a miracle. They need to be top 3s. That's Alioun, Lord Knight, Obi Assassin, Noka, RMZ, and Xanxus.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, the guys who actually need Shenron is pretty much everyone else.
I see you. Yeah, if you want to qualify and you've got no points, you basically have to win or come second. So
yeah,
good luck, bro. Good luck.
That's pretty much how it works, and that's it for what's going to happen. Of course, throughout the event, that's going to be on twitch.tv/Red Bull like last time. We will try to like remind these kind of scenarios as much as we can, so like everyone can follow this, cleanly. And just for the guys watching, any player who I have not mentioned is either not attending. Like, I'm seeing people asking about, Cloud, Subatomic, Reynold, they're not going.
Yeah, they're not going.
So they're either not attending or they're in that tier, which is the like under 60 points tier, which was shown a bit earlier. So all of the players that I have not mentioned are players that basically need the same scenario as others. So like you don't need the entire list of players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. That's what we have to look forward to in the Japan Saga.
So boy, there's like some interesting scenarios there, man. That's kind of crazy actually, because it's one of the smaller brackets of the year. Like I think purely because it's just a 1-day event, so it's like they're doing it all. It's 128 players. It's going to be from start to finish. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath of an event.
Yeah,
it's going to be like people fighting out for those points. You saw the clutch scenarios in the stream just there. And boy, man, it's so many different variables